It's been raining and I'm so anxious because I don't know if I can make my regular video schedule every Wednesday and every Sunday. Forgive me if I don't, but I'm gonna try my best. It has stopped raining now, the skies are clear. Usually I love when it rains in Singapore because it keeps things cool. It really interferes when everything is so dark and I look ghastly, I look terrible. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casper, the boy diviner, deck extraordinaire, whatever you want to call me, cartomancer, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I could have a second title or something. Today I wanted to cover the top witchiest decks I have in my collection. So in a way I do have a bit of a mix because you know witchy is such a... it is quite a specific aesthetic, I guess. So some of it is pretty witchy, and when I say witchy, in my mind I see something more like earthy kind of magic, more grounded, and it's a bit wild and rough versus the ceremonial magicians. But I do have some decks here that might actually fit the ceremonial magicians a bit more. So I have a bit of a mix of both. Let me count how many decks I want to show you actually. So let me count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 tarot decks, 1 honorary mention, and 2 oracle decks that might be interesting. So buckle up, sit tight, and here we go. The most witchy deck I actually have in my collection, I don't think it will be a surprise to anyone, is the Barbara Walker Tarot. This is a beautiful, beautiful little deck, and it's so like, I feel like I don't know American culture really well, so it's 70s or 80s. From the copyright here, it seems like it came out in 1986, so I would say it's pretty 80s, and it's really that kind of 80s feel. You can see from the card images that this is also like inspired by the Marseille, so it's not an entirely RWS based deck, which is great because you know it's kind of a mishmash of the traditions, which I find that it is interesting. I think you can see how 80s it is in this deck. You know, when I'm watching Love Magic, I think that's a movie which was really campy. This is what reminds me of that campy movie, and it's really witchy. Look at this. I really enjoy the imagery in this deck. So if you are looking for something witchy, something that actually shows different deities, something more paganistic, this would be a perfect deck for you. Look at this. Princess of Wands. Amazing deity. You can see the teeth, you can see the eyes on her body. Merlin is shown, and it's a beautiful Merlin. I really enjoy this deck. I don't know why I picked out 2 cards there, but one of my favorite cards in the deck is this one and this one. This one really strikes me hard. I think Kali is also shown in this deck, and I appreciate it because it didn't twist what Kali is. For someone who knows Kali relatively well, because I'm in Singapore and you know we have a lot of Hindus in our country, she's not shown with her blue skin, but this deck didn't tame her down at all, so I appreciate that. Here she is as the Queen of Swords, Kali. Amazing, eating a man's entrails, which she is shown to do before. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the satyr underneath the beautiful tree. So this is the first witchy deck I wanted to show you. If you're enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thank you. The next one I wanted to show is a larger deck. So compared to this one, because this is a tin deck, this one is larger. This is the Stunning Tarot. And I don't think this comes as a surprise. I bought this deck because of how witchy the wand suits are. Every other suit is not as witchy in a way, but it does have that kind of rough, wild nature that I'm talking about when I'm looking at a witchy deck in that sense. So I really appreciate this. Look. So Jonasa Giles, the artist, has been releasing some inspirations of this deck on her Instagram, so you might want to check that out. Look at this. I don't know if this is a live burial. I don't know if they were burning the witch and the witch is surviving, but it is so witchy. This deck is so witchy. Even in the less witchy suits like this one, it does still invoke that kind of rough nature. I feel like Jonasa Giles really captured the aesthetic of the witch in this deck, even though it's not explicitly like a witch deck. You can see that, you know, even though like the Egyptian figures are usually pretty stiff in other portrayals, this one, they have some sort of limberness to them. Look at the King of Swords. How intriguing is that? So it has the Eldritch. Is that a word? Eldritch. Eldritch. This deck is really Eldritch, I feel, in some cases, especially in the swords where it's really in the sea. Yeah, I don't know. I find this deck really witchy. Look at this. So the wands are all really super witchy. So if you are looking for a witchy deck, I feel like this is really should be up your alley. Should be something you are looking for and want. Yeah, look at strength. And the flying carpets. Amazing. So that is my second witchy deck. The next deck I wanted to show you is a mass market deck as well. It is the Mariel Tarot. I don't think this comes as any surprise. I do feel like this deck is witchy, or at least really esoteric. So if you're a witch, you probably can really gel with this deck. I really enjoy this deck. It's just that the box is huge and I don't have like a tarot bag to keep this in. I keep wanting to order tarot bags, but all my money that I get goes to the next deck and the next deck and the next deck. So, but look at how beautiful this is. Look at how beautiful strength is. This is such a beautiful card, and it is very witchy. Okay, I mean, there are some cards like this which is very mundane, but not every kind of card has to be like super duper esoteric. Look at this. The sun, beautiful. And the aces are amazing. These angels are so interesting. The Wheel of Fortune, the Three of Swords. This is the second edition. So the first edition has a different depiction of this one. The first edition actually has a really witchy, I feel like, Hierophant, and has a really witchy High Priestess, and this was all changed in the second edition. So if you do want a witchier kind of deck, you might want to check out the first edition. You might want to take a walkthrough first, because those cards that I mentioned specifically can be quite challenging, can be quite challenging for people. Look at the Devil here. Amazing. Yeah, this deck is really witchy. I really enjoy this. Look at the King of Discs. Yeah, I have no words. I don't know what else to say apart from it has the right amount of imagery and esoteric knowledge to really become that kind of witchy deck. So if you are a practicing witch, which sometimes I might term myself to be, but I feel like I'm more of a magician or a ceremonial magician right now, a new age practitioner, because I'm learning all these things. I have a lot of things I'm learning. This is really up my alley, and I feel like any witch's alley. So the first three are the witchiest decks I have. The next two decks are kind of more neutral. They are not like exactly witchy, but I feel like they can be added to anyone who's interested in the esoteric, any kind of spells. I feel like these will be great for tarot spells. So the first one would be the Tabula Mundi, and this is by Mel Meline. It's a beautiful deck. Oh gosh, I just dropped. I'm a mess, guys. Firstly, look at the backs. I want to do a series about the most amazing backs I have seen in all tarot, so this will definitely be one of them. Look at the beautiful holographic blacks and see how it has meaning here. There's the abracadabra spell. So you to uncurse yourself or to break a curse, you might want to wear an abracadabra spell that reduces letter by letter. So even the backs of these cards are already filled with esoteric meaning. If you are a witch that actually works a lot with astrological correspondences, I feel like the Thoth system might be better for you, and this deck has a very good Thoth system, because in every minor, in every decan, it represents the two majors that actually go with it. So for example, this Six of Swords is Mercury and Aquarius, I think, and that would be the Star and Magician. So I'm going to take the Star and Magician out. I'm going to try to find them. This is the Star and this is the Magus, and these two come together. You can see the symbols here, right? You can see the symbol here for Aquarius. You can see that this is Mercury, and because the Six of Swords is actually Mercury in Aquarius, you can see the stars and you can see the instruments, so they kind of come together as one. So these two cards constitute this one, and you can see more of these examples in every single minor in this deck, and that's why it is such a great deck for magic, witchy magic, or otherwise this deck will be one for someone who really enjoys astrology, who uses astrology in their magic. Even though I'm doing planetary magic, I have no idea. I don't really have great ideas about the astrology symbols and what it means to be in retrograde, anything. I'm still exploring, but I really am looking forward to use this deck more for magic. And because of magic reasons, I actually have the Tabula Mundi Minima deck, which is small. I'm really tempted to get a larger version, to be honest, to work with. It's just a thought, you know, just something I've been thinking about. But we'll see how it goes. Amazing. You can see the Thoth influences here definitely, but it's a imaged Thoth rather than just Yi pips. So I really appreciate this deck. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough. I do have a full walkthrough of some of these decks, and I'll put it in the cards above there. I think I might have pointed on the wrong side, but... And the last and final witchy magic kind of deck that I wanted to show. I've already talked about this so many times and I feel a little bad showing it again, but it is the Spirit Keeper's Tarot Vitruvian edition. So this is the second edition. She is working, okay, so breaking news guys, Benabelle is working on the third edition. You guys should really check out her newsletter, sign up for it, because that's when you can actually get some updates on her third edition deck. This deck is very esoteric. It has all these meanings, it has all these symbols everywhere. So I do feel like there's a lot of learning you can do with this deck. She gives a lot of instructions on how you can use this deck for like visiting your Akashic records, doing specific spiritual readings, spirit readings. And it's a combination of both RWS and Thoth, which is a whole conversation by itself. And in a way, she was channeling or speaking to both Crowley and Waite. So it is a really interesting story. And Benabelle Wen tends to sometimes have a more obtuse kind of language when she's doing this kind of work, but the Book of Maps is surprisingly accessible. So when you get the third edition, I'm assuming she would provide you the write-up that she already has. Let me quickly show you the Book of Maps. Here. So the Book of Maps is pretty thick, but it's really, really interesting. So I just wanted to quickly show you some of the things she actually adds in. Like, she has correspondences for the I Ching and the Tarot. She provides ways to work with the Olympic spirits. I think that is from the Arbortel, but I'm really not sure. I'm not good at magic yet. Keyword is yet. And talks about the invocation and the evocation of spirits, you see. So this book is really a witch's book. If you really want to do magic, I feel like if you ever have the chance to get her third edition, you might want to really think about getting it. Okay, so those are my top 5. I have a few others to show you. Some of the other decks that I've shown you also have books like Book of M for the Tabula Mundi. The Mary L guidebook is really good as well. I just hate how glossy it is. The Stunning Tarot doesn't have anything, and the Barbara Walker Tarot does have a guidebook that you have to purchase separately. And so far I've been reading that, but I don't really gel so much with the meaning, so it could be something specific to me. In any case, let me show you some of my honorary mentions. My only honorary mention for the Tarot is actually the Wayward Dark Tarot. I feel like this can be a witchy deck in a way, but it's more for people who are interested in lower magic, someone who is more interested in, you know, doing some shadow work or digging deep into their own, you know, darkness. Because this is a very kind of a dark yet light kind of feeling. I don't know how to explain this deck. I would use this more, it's just that the cardstock is pretty glossy, I think you can see. So that kind of gloss kind of always turns me off, even though I'm more than likely to get his next deck, even though he's probably going to use the same cardstock again. So this is my honorary mention. If you are into more of the darker arts, or, you know, looking to explore your shadow, look at how amazing this one is. Okay, so that's it for my honorary mention. If you want to see more of this deck, I've done a walkthrough. And the 2 Oracle decks I want to talk about. The first one is actually the Oracle of Emanations, the Angelarium. I think it was slated to come out with a second part to this deck, but it never came out. I don't know what happened. It could be some drama that I'm not aware of, but yeah, because I'm not aware, I can't really speak on this. I feel like this is a deck for people who are interested in the Kabbalah and really do a lot of Kabbalah work. Because the whole premise of this deck is really, can you see Gavura? This is more of the Sephiroth, the Chesed, and then the rest are pretty much angels that are beautifully illustrated. So if you do any work with angels, wonderful. And each of these angels actually represent a path, one of the 22 paths between the Sephiroth. And the only slight issue is that the book doesn't tell you which path corresponds with each angel. So I guess that could be something you kind of investigate as you go along working with this deck. Look at Bina. Yeah, but if you do work with angels and you are interested in something more less, less angelic, less like beautiful humans with wings, this is a perfect deck for you. I really enjoy using this deck when I use it. The problem is I don't really do much angelic work with these specific angels, so oh well. The last deck I wanted to show you guys is actually the Open Portals playing cards. I also don't use this as much as I should. I haven't done any kind of low magic in a while. Low magic meaning like manifesting something, so that could be why, but I feel like this deck is perfect for certain kinds of magic. Like this is the Gods of Love. Can you see that? And then the portal for the sunset. So if you do want to kind of have some kind of romantic sunset together, that could be a portal you're using. Portal for the spark. For example, I should be using this more because I'm losing inspiration and I don't know what content to make next. I should be using that. For example, a portal of the time travel. Maybe if I want to see possible futures for myself, or before I do a tarot reading, I should set this down and set the intention, God of Dreams. Maybe I communicate with the God of Dreams to understand about the dream I had yesterday night, which wasn't that positive. And the possibilities are endless. There's so many different types of cards here that anyone can use and work with. Portal of the Mother. So you work with motherly energies. That could be something you check out. The Portal of the Healer. To get some healing done, you set this down as your intention. So I feel like there's so many possibilities with this deck. There's no kind of guide. This is meant to be more of a game or a playing card game. Also maybe an oracle, but not a tool for magic. Even though you can make it a tool for magic, I feel like this has a lot of potential, and that's why I put this deck into this video. Okay, I hope this was interesting. I hope the decks I've shown were interesting. Comment down below, let me know what are your most witchy decks or the decks you use most in ritual and magic. I'll be more than happy to hear. You guys have a great rest of the day. You take care. Bye!